Okay, tonight we are going to look at waterfall and equally Prince 2. So most of the things we'll be teaching all this while is from a combination of waterfall and Prince 2. So yeah, so it's not like it's a new, we are not very far from because when we want to start teaching, we start from the fundamental, from the beginning of project management, and waterfall is the beginning. That's why we call it traditional approach. Traditional approach to project management, waterfall. We equally have Prince 2 that is very popular in UK. Yeah, those days we wanted to start project management. All of us jump into Prince 2 to do Prince 2 certification, foundation, practitioner, this and that. Yeah, it's from UK government, but these days, all of them, they are still popular, but Agile is taking over everything. So that is the situation now. But we're still going to do it because most of the things, most of the companies, even the big companies, they are still migrating. They are still migrating into Agile. So you still need to understand how waterfall works very well. All right. So yeah, my screen is showing now, and I can see yeah, and so many of us will got good network today. Last night Vivian disturbed us very much, and
So sorry, sir. I didn't know. I wasn't actually hearing you. So I was
I
like,
I hope you are not
I
going
don't know
to
what was going
disturb
on.
us. You are not going to disturb us
All right.
tonight.
No, 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 sir. No, sir. So sorry for yesterday.
Okay, this is waterfall. You see the reason we call it waterfall. You see the way it's flowing. You see the way it's flowing down. That is the main reason we call it waterfall. So it's based on dependencies. Most of the activity one will depend on the other activity. The other activity will depend on the other activity, and that is the way it's flowing. So meaning that you cannot do, if you look at the way it's flowing, let's look at it here. The first activity here is analysis. Analysis involves both requirement gathering and requirement analysis and all the things in initiate stage. So that is analysis. Analysis to understand the objective of the project or the problem we're going to solve. Okay, from analysis, you cannot do design without proper analysis. It's from analysis we are going to get the solution, understand the solution we are going to design. So after the analysis, like requirement gathering, requirement analysis involving this different types of analysis, like root cause analysis, gap analysis, and then we'll come down to solutions evaluation. After solutions evaluation, cost benefit analysis, and then we'll come up with a strong business case. All of them belongs to the analysis, and all of them is what we call initiate stage, the initial stage of the project. Some people can call it feasibility studies. You cannot design what you do not understand. You cannot design a solution to that do not exist. After this, we come up with one solution. We can say that, yes, autonomous community is a very good platform, but the way they manage their finance department and other things is absolutely unacceptable. Because of that, we need to implement a very good solution to match their vision. And the solution we are going to implement is ERP. ERP now becomes the solution we derive from the whole analysis in initiate stage, and then we move to design. How do we implement? You cannot go to implement. The developers cannot implement what they don't know. That is when, during the design stage, you start transforming everything in the analysis or in the business. At the analysis, we call it business requirement. So design, we call it technical requirement. From the initial stage, which is analysis, then we transform technical business requirement into technical requirement. Technical requirement, this is the language the developers are going to understand. Developers do not understand business language. They understand technical language. So you here, being the business analyst, is going to convert the business requirement into technical requirement in form of solution design. You see, you cannot do design without finishing the analysis. And once you finish designing the solution, then that is when the developers will say, okay, I think we are getting a hang of what this young lady is trying to tell us. Yeah. And from there, they can start implementation. If it's a fresh coding, they can start coding from the scratch. If it's a white label, they start configuration, they start customization, they start integration. All these things is part of implementation that is designed here. Then we cannot test what we didn't build or what we didn't implement. So from there, we move to testing. After implementation or after building, we test. You know, after testing, and that is when we deploy. So that is it. From there, the next thing is going to be maintenance, fixing of patches, fixing of bugs, updates, and so on. So it ends here. So you see it, that is the way it trickles down, and that's what we call it waterfall approach. So waterfall methodology is a sequential project approach that divides the project into life cycle, into distinct phases, with each phase completed before moving to the next day. This is very, very important, this particular phrase here or sentence. Yeah, with each phrase, with each phase completed before moving to the next phase. These are what we've done. We've done all these things. Yeah. This is what, when we are doing project planning, or when we build project plan, we saw it. So it's not like it's a new thing to us, but it's now that we are understanding, oh, so this thing belongs to waterfall methodology. The phases typically include the requirement gathering and analysis, design, planning, implementation, testing and deployment, and maintenance. And each phase relies on the deliverables produced in the previous phase. So, yeah. Do we understand how predecessors work here now? We've done predecessors. That is how it was. And we said is kind of dependencies. They are depending on each other. So, key phases in Waterfall methodology, we have initiate stage, we have design, we have implementation, we have testing, we have deployment, we have maintenance. Alternatively, you can break them down into initiate stage, design stage, execute stage. So execute covers both implementation, testing, deployment. All of them comes into execute stage and closure. So maintenance is not really part of the project, but is part of the product, because a product needs to be maintained. But the main project is once we deploy, then the maintenance of the project is a continuous thing. So it depends on the operations to decide how to maintain the work. They might have a dedicated team maintaining their product. Yeah. So it works perfectly with this work breakdown structure framework. Yeah, you see it here, and that's what we're using. You see, we have initiate, planning or define, and then we have execute, we have closure. So, yeah. So, requirement gathering is the first thing, and we all know what requirement gathering is: to collect data from the stakeholders. So, in the requirement gathering phase, the project stakeholder define, document project objectives, scope, and requirements. The requirements are typically gathered through interview, workshop, and documentation review, and serve as the foundation for subsequent project phases. Design. In this design, the project team developed detailed design specification and architectural plan based on the requirement gathered in the previous phase. So that is why they transform the business requirement into technical requirement. And that is what we call, for those in business analysis, if you're in business analysis, you are going to see technical business analysis required. Technical business analysis is the one, because some business analysis will end up in just identifying the solution and it end there. So, while some business analysts need to continue to design stage and start designing and follow up even in the execution stage. So, yeah. So we have business analysis, and we have technical business analysis. So from design stage, this is where the technical business analyst comes in. Yeah, they convert business need into technical specification, and that's it. So system architecture design, user interface design, and all of them comes as user stories and acceptance criteria, which we did in Agile. Or this is where they build at this stage is where you build the product backlog if you are working with Agile. And once you finish the designing, then implementation. That's when you invite the developers to work with you. The work of project manager here is to make sure that this is done. That is to facilitate, follow up, monitor. It's not your duty to come and start. Let me tell you, only those project manager that become business analysts before they become a project manager. These are the people that understand all these technicalities. So many project managers, let me say 70% of project managers cannot do this design. They can't, because they are project manager, they are not business analysts. During my work as a business analyst, I mentored so many project managers on this business analysis. So, yeah. And then implementation. Throughout the implementation stage, which is we call execute, which covers testing and deployment. These are the work of developers in these projects. So the developers in the implementation phase, project team translate the design specification into executable code or tangible deliverables. That is when they start building it, it starts showing, it start becoming a website, it start becoming a software like this. Then we can now download it as mobile application. If you start coming out as Facebook, you start coming out as Instagram, we'll start using it. That is how it's done. Even Facebook you use, even Instagram, even OpenAI, all of us, ChatGPT, all of us are using. Through these processes, this is how all of them are produced. They came from analysis, through design, through implementation. From this code become deliverable. So the implementation phase involves coding, programming, configuration, customization, integration of software components into, and it becomes a system. And after this, all this customization, coding, programming, integration of softwares and all this, we don't just carry it to the market like the way the Nollywood industry does. You know that Nollywood, they will finish shooting a film, from the back moment where they are shooting, they don't do any kind of testing. They don't even look at their work twice, and they start publishing it on YouTube because they need this money fast. And when you are watching it, you can watch a movie and you go through that movie, you see that for even 30, like 5 minutes, they are just doing their mouth like this, no audio, because it wasn't tested. So any work we do must be properly tested before we deploy to production environment. Production environment or business environment is where the work gets consumed. So we need to do testing. So in the testing, we have a lot of testing activities. Yeah, can be unit testing. We can have integration testing. We can have system testing, user acceptance testing, or regression testing, depending on the type of work we did and the kind of product we delivered. For instance, if we did not carry out any kind of integration, there's no way we're going to do integration testing. Yeah, but in most cases, we're going to do what we call UAT, user acceptance testing. We're going to invite users. Whoever is going to use the product will pick a sample from the user to come and test it. And for instance, in the case of our web portal, if we build a new web portal now and want to test it, we might say, okay, we'll finish this web portal. We invite a student to go register, log in, and start using it. And see if we're going to have he or she is going to have a problem trying to use the system. Yeah. So that is testing and then deployment. The deployment after testing and everything is okay, then we'll send it to business environment, production environment. That is when we can even start publishing our mobile application to Google Play Store or Apple Store, where people start downloading it because it's already tested and confirmed that it's good. And that's deployment. So in the deployment phase, the project team release the completed project deliverable to end users or customers and transition the project from development environment. This is where you develop it. Development to production. We call it production environment. Production environment is where end users, customers can start using it, downloading the application and the other things. So deployment activities may include installation, configuration, training, and user support. After the deployment, then we close the project from our own angle. But in most cases, some companies, they will have a dedicated unit. It might be the people that build the project, you know, but you are not continuing with that project. The project ended until whenever there is a call for error, defects. But at this point, at deployment, you now handed the project to the operations department. It's no longer within the project team. So if you are hired as a contractor, at this point, immediately it's deployed, your contract may come to an end. So after deployment, you might just do the closure stage. But in some cases where you are working permanently in a company, you might close this project, but they can always call you people to do 1 or 2 maintenance on that. So in the maintenance phase, the project team provide ongoing support, maintenance, enhancement in the project delivery to address issues, bug, and change requests reported by users. Maintenance activities may include bug fixes, patches, updates, and enhancement to improve the product performance and reliability. So if you are working permanently in a company, or is the agreement or arrangement for the company, yeah, you might even transit to another project, but you always go back to fix bugs. Your team can always go back to fix bugs, do updates. Yeah, that's it. So that is the waterfall approach. And waterfall, you will see you can use it in this Freight Camp. Yeah, so easily. And yeah, so let's see. If you look at this Freight Camp, is different from Jira. So here, there is no room for user stories. Like everything is tasks. So you see it here. Let's say this is the This is the initiate stage. Under JIRA, we can call it epic, which is a chunk body of work that is in a high level state that need to be broken down. So if you're looking at it during the JIRA in the Agile, what we are adding, we can add ads, we can add a bug, we can add user story, we can add feature. But in this case, here you can only add tags. So you see, you add your tags, that's all. It's very good for Waterfall, but it's not good for Agile. Yeah, that is the difference between both of them. And everything, you can just very structured project. This is very good for a structured project. And here, in a project team can be up to 20 team members here, and even be 50 project team members. Yes. But in JIRA or in Agile, it can be more than 10 people. Yeah. That's why when JIRA was giving you the free version, they said at least maximum of 10 people, meaning that they've given you one instance to manage your project free of charge, meaning that at least you people observing the true Agile methodology, you can be more than 10 people. That's why they say 10. They've given you, if you want more, then you need to start paying. And that's very kind of them. So you see, that is how this one is. Well, you see, planning stage, after planning stage, execution stage, and closure stage, and that's it. So that's how this particular tool or software is a collaborative tool. You have so many of them like this, like Basecamp, Asana, and so many of them like this. They are very good for Agile Waterfall environment. But JIRA is for Scrum, which is Agile. Yeah. So that's it. So this is where we are going to start. We're going to start so that, yeah, we can move this. You can move this, or you have the project plan to this place and start managing from this place. So from this, you create a project plan. From project plan, you can then move it to this place, because in the project plan very well, every item should have a date. For instance, this create or receive a project brief. Look at it here, you see that it has a due date. So must have a due date. Due date here, open here, you select the due date. The due date you've added in your project plan. That is the way you are going to configure it here. That is it. And here, you need to state the status, the project status. When the project is not started, you put it on not in progress. Once in progress, you put it in progress. Once finished, you complete it. You, the project manager, should be actively involved monitoring due date. Who is exceeding their due date? Who is once somebody started exceeding the due date, that is what we call delay, and we don't take it lightly. You see here, assigned to. You see, assigned to someone. So under Waterfall, a project manager can assign work to a team member. You see here, I can decide to assign this work to this person. So, yeah, and I'll follow it up, monitor, making sure that this Chinyere is doing the work, and I need to let Chinyere know how important this work by assigning priorities, meaning that it's high priority, it's very important. You don't need to play around with it. So, yeah, and unlike in agile environment, I told you, the Scrum Master, cannot come and assign a work to a project team member. All you need to do, whenever they need you or they are struggling, they will raise their flag. They will attract attention. They'll call you and you come explain what their challenge is. They do that through daily stand-up. Yeah. Here, there is nothing like daily stand-up. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you people must come to the stakeholder to do what we call project status updates. And within the project team, at least you should be meeting once every week. During the week you meet, that's when you do what we call RAID meeting. That's risk management meeting, at least once every week using RAID. We've done RAID. Everybody knows what RAID is and how to do RAID. We did it, both RAID and risk register. You have to do that meeting at least. That covers that daily stand-up they do in Agile on daily basis, but this one on weekly basis, once in a week. That is the ideal time to do that. And then you can equally be doing another meeting like lesson learned. You can decide to, just like in Agile, at the end of every project, once we finish demo, that demo is project status update. We report to the line manager or the stakeholder. So once we finish demo, we start retrospective. In this case, you might put your retrospective, combining it with RAID. Immediately you finish RAID, you can start doing, but the point I'm making that you must do RAID once in a week in a waterfall environment, and equally do lesson learned meeting, and weekly as well. You must equally do project status report when you report to the stakeholders the progress of your project. So these are various meetings you carry out. Yeah, but all these meetings, you might decide to create a recurring event where you use here to post and let people know, or use calendar here to do it. Yeah, but that is the difference between waterfall and Agile. So you see the way we use the two technologies or the two tools to manage projects in these two environments. So, benefits of waterfall. Waterfall is very clear and structured project progress through defined phases. Well-defined requirement and deliverable at each phase. Suitable for projects with stable and predictable requirements. Easy to understand and manage for stakeholders unfamiliar with Agile practice. So, is for projects with stable environment. Challenges of waterfall. Cassandra, please put yourself on mute. Challenges of waterfall: limited flexibility to accommodate changing requirement and priority. Yeah, it's limited flow. That doesn't mean you do not capture changing, but it follows a structured bureaucratic process of capturing change, which We do not have that kind of bureaucratic, yeah. The study in a waterfall, you need to pass through change control. But in agile, the product owner can come and say, guys, I don't want this particular feature anymore. You can't question him. I don't want it. We are moving down to another feature or requirement. So we can go down and, like I showed you, the bring requirement from the bottom on top of and make it a priority. And everybody, there's nobody question the authority of the product owner. All we are waiting is for direction, and we follow. But the project's waterfall, if the supervisor or the project sponsor say, we want this way. Yes, I know you are sponsoring this, but we need to capture it through the change control board. That is the process. No matter, even if it's the governor, doesn't matter. Even if it's the president, it doesn't matter. You are not saying that you are not going to capture it, but you need to capture it through the normal process, because you are not ready to go to jail because you are working for a government. When it blows now, when the EFCC comes, the governor will dodge ahead and they will come and carry you. So you don't become naive because you are working for government. No, they are all human beings. Just protect yourself. Okay, conclusively, Waterfall methodology offers a structured and sequential approach to project management, suitable for projects with stable and well-structured requirements, while the waterfall methodology provides clarity and predictability in project progression. It lacks the flexibility and adaptability required to address rapidly changing business environment. When I say rapidly, means that by the time you follow the due process, filling the change request form during the change, setting up a control board. The control board will then have a meeting to do the assessment, the risk assessment, the viability of the change, this and that. It takes time. Depending on the stakeholders you have, a lot of arguments will go on, and it takes time. And before they then approve the project, the change, and then start approving the budget for the increment and so on and so on. These are bureaucratic way of. In agile environment, all this bureaucracy is not needed. Is this what you want? Yes, sir. Guys, we are changing. Yeah, we can drop anything or everything we are doing to follow the instruction of the product owner. Yes, he's the governor. And whatever he wants, everybody follows. There is no control board here. And that's why some people, school of thought from Waterfall, criticizing agile. They call agile cowboy approach in project management. You call it cowboy because it's not well structured. You can come to there and say, we are no longer here. We are not doing this again. Man, we are changing. This is what, yes, that is, as long as the product owner is happy, the team, that is it. You cannot say, but we have been doing this for weeks now. Why are we? No. Are you getting your salary? Are you getting paid? Yes, just continue running the cycle. Follow the instruction. We don't want this. It's no longer what the markets need. This is what the market need is this. Yeah, we follow, that is the instruction, and that is how it works. So we move to Prince 2. So Prince 2, project in control environment, that is Prince 2, is a structured project methodology derived by the UK government to provide a common framework for managing projects effectively. Prince 2 is based on 7 principles, themes, and processes that guide project planning, execution, and control throughout the project life cycle. So this Prince 2 is driven by project UK government. Yeah, so Department of Works and Pension, they develop this framework, this methodology, this approach to help reduce the project failures, reduce kind of bureaucracy. They're trying to reduce bureaucracy and equally maintain a bit of flexibility. So they kind of adopted some flexibility from agile and maintain this the structure, because waterfall is very good, is very, very structured, but the planning involved in waterfall is too rigid. We're trying to kind of reduce the rigidity. That is what they plan to achieve through Prince 2. The key principles of Prince 2 are these. Number 1, continued business justification. Prince 2 projects must have valid business case that justify the investment of resources and effort. The business case outlines the expected benefits, cost, risk, and return associated with the project. So that's where we come up with business case. See here, you can see here, create business case. You see, we kind of crafted both Prince 2 and Waterfall together to deliver a high quality project. And you see here, you see cost benefit analysis. So we must justify the benefit, making sure that there is a benefit coming out. Anytime after justification or review, and we are seeing that there is no benefit, then that project, according to Prince 2, is coming to an end, because we are not going to produce or run a project that are going to put us into deficit. Everything we are doing is to make profits. That is what Prince 2 is preaching. Continuous business justification must be justified. Benefit must continue to be justified. So valid business case justifies the investment of resources and efforts. So learn from experience. You see, learn from experience. That's what we mean by lesson learned. It's extremely important. We capture it in Waterfall as well, but Prince 2 is extremely important. It's one of their key principles. So Prince 2 encourages project team to learn from past projects, both successes and failures, and apply lesson learned to improve project planning and execution. So you see, I encourage you people that you must always have a meeting every week. This is going to be part of your statutory meeting. Statutory meeting means that you must always have it. As long as this project is going on, Every week you must have it. These are statutory meetings. Lesson learned, raid meeting, and project status update. Even if you don't do any other thing, you must, these 3 meetings must hold every week. Define rules and responsibilities. Prince 2 defines clear rules and responsibilities for project stakeholders, including the project board, project managers, team members, and project support role, ensuring accountability. This will take you back to RACI metrics. We've done RACI metrics. If you remember, we use RACI metrics to define roles and responsibilities. So according to Prince 2, is one of their key principles. You must do all this. Managed by stage, Prince 2 divide projects into life cycle and manageable stage known as management stages with defined objective deliverables and review points. Each stage must be planned, monitored, and controlled to ensure progress and quality. We already have that in our project life cycle. We achieve this managed by stage through work breakdown structure. Prince 2 loves work breakdown structure. That's what I mean by managed by stages. Managed by exception. Empower project members to make day-to-day decisions within defined tolerance, but requires escalation to higher authority if tolerance are exceeded or issues arise that cannot be resolved within the project manager's authority. So we have talked about, even in the soft skill, the way you are going to dedicate authority, delegate duty. Don't carry everything on your head. Once you've done symmetries and define roles and responsibilities, make sure that everybody is doing. Don't go and start doing the work for all of them. And even the one you are doing and you are becoming a bit overwhelmed, and there's a team member that can do some of the things, like in risk management, dedicates to them. Don't do everything. Don't carry everything on your head. During risk management, give some of these risks to some team members to own it. Focus on products. According to Prince, to emphasize the importance of defining and managing project deliverable, known as products. Throughout the project lifecycle, product must be defined, approved, and delivered according to predefined quality criteria and standard. At this point, you see they are now adopting acceptance criteria and standard. So even in the project in Waterfall, every aspect of project we have quality standard. So it's making sure there is quality standard in everything we do. Tailor to suit project environment. Prince 2 is adaptable and scalable, allowing organization to tailor its principle, theme, and process to suit specific need, complexity, and complex and content of individual projects. So we can tailor Prince 2 to meet any kind of project. We cannot say Prince 2 is only good in banking and finance. Prince 2 can be tailored to be used in agricultural industry, both in telecommunication, both in education, both in software development. So that is it. And then we'll come to themes of Prince 2. One is business case. Like, say, business case is extremely important. So ensuring that project remains aligned and with organizational objectives and delivers value to stakeholders. So it's stressing that the value must remain unchanged. Anytime we look at this project and the kind of value we want is not delivering any value, no justification for that project anymore. So every project must remain valued. At times you see people, by the time we finish, you see that we have produced so many products we don't use. After so much work, we build a very big house, a very big secretariat. I've seen building a secretariat, government building a secretariat. After building the secretariat, nobody's there. You go there, you see cockroaches, rats everywhere there. Nothing. You see government, they want to build a governor's lodge. After building it, no governor is living there. They say they want to build for deputy governor. They build a very big house. Nobody's living there. They say they don't commit such fund if you know there is no need. If at some point you find out that you don't need it, stop it. Or you want to import big buses from China, and after importing, you find out that, yeah, even the state do not need these buses again, and they just go and park them somewhere, and those buses will just dilapidate there. Don't engage in a project that is not going to bring value. And this is the main reason why there is so much unemployment in Africa, more especially Nigeria. Let me tell you down to Nigeria. Because if we apply Prince 2 in our educational system, the educational system should say that these young people, from our statistics, how many people are getting job after graduation, like 5 years after graduation? Every university should be able to have a track of their students to see their performance outside the university, to know if their effort, if their commitment is worth it. If it's not worth it, then they change their total methodology, their syllables. Again, some courses, which is a product, you know that every course is a product. For some of us who studied, which course will I use now that is not going to offend anybody? Can anybody suggest me any course that's not going to be offensive?
History.
Okay, history. After studying history for 5 years, including NYC and the strike, they tell you the story of Kilimanjaro, they tell you the story of Jaja of Otobo, they tell you the Oba of Benin, you read it, you tell you story of River Niger, how Nigeria was conquered, how Ghana conquered Nigeria, how Cameroon was part of Nigeria. After telling you all this story, you go to the outside and you go to the bank. Are you going to start telling the bank, if you tell your customers that Nigeria was what, are they going to give you a job? They're not going to give you a job. Or if you go to telecom, because this is where the jobs are. If you go to telecom, are they going to give you a job? No. Then you start looking for Mr. Charles. And they say there's one Mr. Charles. If you just do boot camp, your life will change. Everybody will start looking for me after spending how many years? Is it fair? You know, this woman, Mama P, said, there is God, though. You know, there is God, because these people they don't even have our interests at heart. The educational sector, starting from Minister for Education to all the professors, down to nursery school teachers, they don't love us. Because they love us, they shouldn't be teaching us a lot of things. I'm not saying that history is not good or more. History is good. But history should not stand as a standalone course. Something like history could be a borrowed course, just like added course to software engineering, so that people doing software engineering, at least they will have to know history, where they even need to travel to go look for work, better countries that are looking for software. So yeah, stories, statistics about the world, you know, is good, but it shouldn't be a full course. They dedicate teaching you history. And yes, once they finish teaching you history, the next thing, they prepared you to become a teacher. How many schools are going to employ you as a history teacher? If you go there, they already have a history teacher. They're not going to take you. They say political science. You spend how many years in the university studying political science? And when you come out, you find out that medical doctors are governors. As a matter of fact, in Enugu State, the governors have been medical doctor to lawyers to banking and finance to lawyer, you know, because Chimorok is a medical doctor, Sullivan is a lawyer, you know, Buruburu is a banking and finance, he studied banking and finance. Then Peter Mba is a lawyer. So where are the and if I come, if you see the number of people in the political science department in ESUT, University of Nigeria, Enugu State people, if I tell you how many Enugu State people that have professors or PhD in political science, you won't believe it. But none of them has ever even become a local government chairman. You know, none of them has become a local government chairman. Even in my local government, the person that handed over to me is a lawyer, and me, I studied finance. You know, and the current local government now is an engineer. I know so many engineers. I've not seen even a political scientist. As a matter of fact, these governors, they are not even going to employ you to become their political analyst because you study political science. They cannot even employ you as SPA political because you study. So why are we wasting time studying political science? What is the reason? I'm here to find out the reason why political science exists as a single course in Nigeria. So these are some of the products that does not bring value. And we're still producing it. Because the more we are producing students they are product of political science. So they are products. We continue to produce this while the market do not need it. Is that not a waste? We are wasting our resources. The parents' resources, government resources, you destroy youth. So many youth that should be productive. As a matter of fact, instead of you training somebody to become a political scientist, it's better to move all of them to football academy. Maybe one day they might start playing for Chelsea and this and that. Because I've never seen any political science who is even a president. But most of the presidents we have do not even have degree. Talk more of becoming a political scientist. Yeah, so that is it. You can see that Prince 2 is very good project approach. If organizations should adopt it, if government should adopt it, yeah, it's going to reduce a lot of waste and confusion in the system. Okay, let's move. That is what they are telling us about this business case, continued justification. Okay, organization defining clear rules, responsibilities, and reporting structures for project stakeholders. So there should be clear rules and responsibilities. It's still pointing down at racing metrics, roles and responsibility. Everything should be highly organized. There is no finger pointing. You know your roles. I'm the project manager. Under racing metrics, you know what project manager. I'm the business analyst. Under, you know who is responsible and who is accountable at every point. Quality. He said there must be quality standard. There's quality control. So that's why if you come to UK, they will have so many rules for quality assurance personnel. A lot of them, quality assurance. Even outside projects, even companies that do not want to adopt projects, even local, you see they will still want to, in every process, anything they do, they want to measure the quality control process. Yeah. So even in Agile, we have acceptance criteria as a quality control process. Plan, developing comprehensive plan to guide execution, monitoring, and control. Yes, is keep on pointing to you must have a project plan, a standard project plan. I don't see how you can manage a standard project without having a standard plan. Risk, identifying risk, pointing out to risk management, identifying, assessing, mitigating risk. That is RAID log, RAID management, risk register. Change, managing changes to project scope, requirement, and delivery, ensure alignment with stakeholders' need and expectations. So even them, they recognize change. So there should be room for change and flexibility and progress. Monitoring, reporting, yeah. So we have baseline. If you look at our project plan, we have baselining in our project plan. That is change controls. So that is Prince 2 for you. Prince 2 is a very powerful approach. Yeah. Processes of Prince 2, starting up a project, which through initiate stage, directing a project, initiating a project, controlling a project, managing project delivery, managing stage boundaries, and closing the project, which is almost everything we have in the waterfall. Yeah, so Prince 2 is waterfall, but what they do is they do a kind of amendment, try to remove some of those bureaucratic aspects of conventional waterfall. So you see so many people in UK, they are using Prince 2, they are using, if you are using Prince 2, you're already using waterfall, but a hybrid, a high version of waterfall. Prince 2 benefits, it provides common framework and language for managing project effectively, emphasizes continued business justification and stakeholder engagement, promote clear rules, responsibilities, and accountability for project stakeholders. Flexible and adaptable to suit various project types and size and content. So any way you say you are, you can cut it according to your size. That's what they are saying here. It can be applied anywhere. Encourages learning from past mistakes or past projects and applying lesson learned to improve project outcome. So challenges, Prince 2 require formal documentation and government process, which can be time consuming and bureaucratic. So the only thing where I see Prince 2 is that no matter how good you are, and if you want to work in a public sector here in UK, like you want to work in local government or you want to work in Ministry of Justice or this and that, they will always find a way to tell you that you, as a project manager, you must at least Prince 2 Foundation. You must have that certification. They value that no matter the kind of experience, which the private sectors do not care about that in the UK. If you have a quality experience, but you are getting a job, whether Prince 2 or no Prince 2. But if you want to work in the local government with all your experience, even like you work with Google, they always ask you, do you have Prince 2 certification? Yeah, as a full project manager. You might work as a project coordinator, this and that, but for you to work as a project manager, maybe in Ministry of Justice, there must be a documentation or certification like Prince 2. In Prince 2, we have Prince 2 Foundation, and the higher is Prince 2 practitioner. May not Prince 2, another challenge of Prince 2 may not be suitable for projects with high uncertainty or rapid changing environment. Prince 2 equally relies on upfront planning and may struggle to accommodate evolving project need and priority. Require training and certification for project managers and team members to effectively implement Prince 2 practice. Conclusively, Prince 2 methodology offered a structured and process-based approach to project management, providing organizations with flexible and adaptable framework for managing projects effectively. By embracing Prince 2 principle, teams and processes, organizations can improve project governance, stakeholder management, and project success rate, ultimately delivering value to stakeholders and achieve, what I like most here is delivering value. Yeah, I love return on investment, you know. Yeah. I want a situation even before I graduate. They always telling me, I hope you're interested, I hope you're staying with us. I had my cousin who came to my house with the son studied cyber security in the university, and the son is did internship. So in his final year, he's not even graduated, and you see the way companies are running after him, more especially all those places he did his internship. Are you going to work with us? Are you going to work with us? That is what I call, he's not even graduated, but jobs already chasing him. That's what I call return on investment. Yeah. Even these days, you see medical doctors in Nigeria, they are looking for work. They don't have work, you know, and that is not good. I don't even know which one is going to be good course these days, but I still believe medical professions in our contents, in our African context, is still better than others that we don't even know what to do. So whatever you do, value anything you are doing and is not bringing value, stop it, you know. So okay, so if you listen, so if you are training your child, I'm telling you, it's the duty of you at this time. You are no longer, if anything happened to any of your children, they weren't trained well, we are not going to blame universities. because now, after this particular class, at least every time I'm trying to awaken your subconsciousness, your awareness that you are going to be the one to hold accountable if your child comes out of the university and they don't have a job after 1 year. It's your responsibility. You are going to be held, not even the child, you, because we, the parents, we blame these children. You finish university, your mates have gotten job, you are not getting any job. But did you review the course even before pushing him to read that course? After reading the course, are you monitoring the market, making sure that this your project is aligned with the labor market, that this young man is a good product for the labor market? Then when you finish produce, because that boy is your product, you send your product to the market and nobody is pricing your product. You're now directing the anger to the young man. No. As a matter of fact, you who trained that young man is the one who failed, not the young man. Yeah, that is it. So thank you and see you next week.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the class.
Thank you.
So, within the remaining part of the week, we are going to try to use it to do our onboarding. And yeah, I know we still have some other things we need to do for this training, pockets of lessons we still need to finish up by next week. But this week, we should be joining project team. That's it. So yeah, if you have any question, we'll give you 5 minutes to ask your question before I dive out. 5 minutes, raise your hand and you talk. Okay. Think all right, Rebecca. Please first.
Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for the class. So my question is this: in Agile operates on a Scrum framework, and we don't call them project manager. We call them Scrum master. How about on Waterfall? Do they have any special name for the project managers that operate on Waterfall environment? That's one question. And second question is on Agile. It's like there's no assigner or nobody assigns tasks, just like you said yesterday, that a team member can go there and assign tasks to him or herself. How about in Waterfall? Is it the duty of the project manager to assign tasks?
Rebecca, were you sleeping in this class? That is my own question.
I wasn't sleeping, sir.
So somebody here should be able to respond to Rebecca, because all this thing Rebecca is asking is captured it in this particular class.
In Waterfall, the project manager assigns tasks to the team members. It is not done in Agile like that.
We displayed it in FreeCamp. Did we or didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Okay, Rebecca, it's confirmed that you are sleeping. Please stop sleeping in my class.
All right, thank you, sir. But don't they have any special name for them, those on Waterfall, just like Scrum Masters?
Project manager is project manager.
Yeah, that's what we said. We said in Waterfall, they are
Okay.
project managers. But if we go to the other place, they are not longer project managers. Remember what we said?
Is either product owner or scrum masters.
Yeah, so if we move to Agile, project managers becomes scrum master. I didn't say they become product owner. There is another role called product owner. Yes. Project manager is, if you go to exam, they ask you the name of the project manager in Agile environment. They are scrum masters. Yeah, project managers are not product owners. Product owners are product owners. That is what they are. Business analysts, yeah, I say there is business analysts, but they are not going to be answering business analysts. All of them are developers. So, yeah, so if you, I think we should have uploaded that video, so you go and watch it again. So, yeah, Mr. Emmanuel.
Greetings, Mr. Charles.
Greeting to you too.
Okay, please, I'm just curious. This Prince 2, is it limited just to the United Kingdom, or does other countries use it for project management too?
It's a method of managing projects, and it's just like a British suit. If you like British suits, you buy it. I take it to Nigeria. You start using it in Nigeria, but it's sold in Britain. If you like the style, you can even learn it and go to Nigeria and still sewing it in British style. It doesn't mean that that is British founded. As a matter of fact, most of the technologies we're using today, even electricity, some of them are invented in Britain. So are you going to tell me, can I use electricity in Nigeria, Emmanuel?
Like I said, I'm just curious. And secondly, sir, will a company that hires you tell you what project management methodologies to use, collaborative environment to use?
Okay, Mr. Emmanuel, can you tell me the role of project management office in an organization? PMO, we've done that. What do we say that they do?
They take care of the administrative roles, duties in the office.
They highlight the methodology used in they are the ones that actually pick the methodology to use.
I think what I will do is some of these questions, you people will have it as an interactive session within yourself. Yeah. Because most of the thing there is some of you might miss a class, you don't go to follow up, or yeah. So that is what the PMO office, they are there. You must follow the guideline of the PMO while managing your project. They have their methodology. Every company have adopted methodology. Every company have templates. Every company have processes. They want to do things. Company A might decide to adopt this Waterfall. Company B might decide to adopt Agile. You know, both of them, even two banks, can be using different methodologies. Whichever one, it depends on the management. Whichever one, for me now, if I have most of my companies, I'll be using Agile. You know, because as the leader, I believe this is the one that I know that's going to bring profitability and take my company. Some other person by saying, no, I don't like this agile. You adopt. So you try to understand the one they are using. In most cases, even in the job description, they will highlight. From the job description, you know what they are looking for. Yeah. In some, they will tell you agile project manager or Scrum Master. Once they see a company recruiting for Scrum Master, what does that tell you?
Agile. We use agile.
That they adopt agile environment.
Agile environment.
Yes, when you see Scrum Master needed or a product owner, you know automatically that these people, what they are using is agile. And some people are now telling you project manager or project coordinator. When you come there, you are going to the one in the job description or a job, we will see them, some of the things, skills they want you see racing metrics, you see this kind of, there's kind of, you know that these people are called Waterfall. Or now they start telling you some of their requirements, Prince 2 certified. Automatically, you know that these people are using Prince 2. So if you read the job description very well, even before you apply, you know what they are using. You don't need to get there for them to tell you we are using this. Some of them, even if they are recruited you as a conventional project manager, and they want to use Agile, they will tell you that at some point you are going to be using Agile. So, yeah. And equally during interview, you have gotten yourself to the interview stage and you've gone through the job description, you are still confused, you don't know what they are using, you can ask them, what framework are you guys using? Or what approach or methodology does this company use? If you are confused, reading through the job description, you cannot really pinpoint what they are using. But in most cases, by the time you are going through the job description, you would know the approach the company uses even before you join the company.
Okay, so speaking of the Scrum in Agile environment, I remember in one of the classes we mentioned that Scrum Master is can be done as a different certification program. So when we see a job advertising for Scrum, a Scrum Master in Agile environment, can we comfortably apply for it, or is there something else attached? Or it's just, like you said, there's no project management in Agile environment, it's Scrum.
If you know how to apply Scrum very well, and you've had the experience of applying it, if they are recruiting for Scrum Master, yes, you can apply for Scrum Master even without being certified. Yes, you can apply without being certified. Yes. I've seen so many Scrum Masters that do not have, that is not certified Scrum Master. But you need to understand how Scrum work very well. You need to demonstrate it in your CV that you understand the Scrum and you've had experience of Scrum. Yeah. So that if they start asking you a question, you should be able to answer the question very well. Like I said, companies these days do not believe in certification or certificate from university. They are interested in your CV. They are interested in your work experience. That's why so many people are not getting jobs. They don't have good work experience. And that's what we are trying to do using the internship to fill the gap. So if you pay attention, the internship is even more important than all this training. But the main thing is that if you go to the internship and you don't know anything, how are you going to even participate in the internship? That's why we train you before you go for the internship. But telling them you are trained, Mr. Charles trained you, and you don't have experience, they will tell you who is Mr. Charles. you know. But once you have experience, very good experience, they don't even want to know who trained you. They're interested in that experience you put on your CV. Can you tell them more about this your experience? So that is what they are going to. They are going to use scenario-based question. Can you give us a situation? Can you give us a scenario where you led a project? You know, how did you approach this project? Under maybe if they are kind enough, they will give you a framework under Scrum or under Waterfall. They will not even tell you, but they want you to know how you led a project. You know, maybe a CRM project. You tell us, you say, give us. You said you in your CV. Then tell us how the scenario or what led, or if your CV is not clear, but you should be able to clear. If you use my template, you should be able to say that I use star structure. I use star structure. Star structure means that you've already demonstrated the situation or the scenario. Situation is the problem. You know, that is study. And facts and action and the result. So they want to know the situation. They want to know what's in this situation. What did they ask you to do? So what is the task? They task you as a project manager, or they task you as a business analyst. That is the task. Yeah. Which role are you? In that role, then tell us actions. What did you do in solving that problem, in deploying the solution, or in leading that project, or tell them what you've done? And results, when you finish that project, or when you finish deploying the solution, what are the results? That is KPI. What are the benefits, which I keep telling people about benefit. If we are thinking about benefits when we are working on a project, we cannot allow your brother to be reading political science while you are reading software engineering, because you are very selfish to allow your younger brother to be reading political science and you are reading software engineering. Yes, if you have been part of this class, I'm being honest with you, because you don't want your brother to be great. If you want your brother to be great, you even fight your parents to pull the boy out of political science class and put him in computer science. All right, and here we end it. And like I said, see you guys next week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Thank you so much, sir.
very
See you
much.
next week.
All
Thank you,
right.
Mr. Shaz, for the class. Thank